The story begins with two hitmen, Danny and his mentor, Hunter. They've worked together for a long time, ever since Danny left the army. Hunter is like a teacher and a good friend to Danny. This time, they're in Mexico for a mission, with their team members Davis and Mayer helping out. When their target arrives, Mayer sets off a bomb in the target's car. Soon after, Danny and the team surround the man, and Danny quickly takes down all the bad guys. But then, something shocking happens. When Danny looks into the car, he sees a little boy inside. Danny feels really bad because he realizes the boy saw everything. This makes Danny upset and distracted. Suddenly, the police arrive, and Danny gets shot. But Hunter jumps in just in time and saves him. At that moment, Hunter helps Danny and Davis escape in their getaway car. On the way, Danny tells Hunter that he's tired of all this and wants to stop being a hitman. A year later, Danny has retired and is living a quiet, happy life in the forests of Australia. One day, Danny gets a shocking photo from his agent. The picture shows Hunter, his mentor and friend, being held by some dangerous people called the Arab Oil Mafia. Danny feels super angry and worried when he sees this. Without wasting any time, he flies to Oman to meet his agent, John, and find out what's going on. At first, John doesn't explain much. But while they're traveling, John finally tells Danny the truth. Hunter messed up an important job for a powerful tribal leader who's part of the oil mafia. Now, if Danny wants to save Hunter, he has to finish that job. If he succeeds, he'll even get a reward of $6 million. But there's a big problem. If Danny fails, Hunter will be killed. Moments later, Danny finally arrives at the mafia's headquarters, where he meets Baid, the youngest son of the leader, the Sheik. The Sheik hires Danny and Hunter to take revenge on the British Special Forces who killed his three sons. The Sheik gives Danny a file with details about the target and warns him that he only has 6 months to finish the job. If Danny fails, Hunter will be killed as soon as the Sheik dies. At that time, Danny agrees to do the mission but demands to see Hunter first. When they meet, Hunter looks tired and worn out. Hunter doesn't want Danny to take the mission because he doesn't want Danny to go back to being a hitman. But Danny insists he has to save Hunter because he owes him so much. Later, Danny tricks a guard by asking for drinks, then knocks him out. Danny tries to escape with Hunter, but they're quickly surrounded by the Sheik's men. Outnumbered, they have no choice but to surrender. Hunter even tells Danny to leave him behind, but Danny refuses. Then, Danny discovers something shocking, that John had used Hunter as bait all along. This makes Danny furious, but now he feels stuck. He knows he has to finish the mission to save Hunter. At that moment, Danny promises himself that this will be his last job. He dreams of living a peaceful life in Australia with his partner, Anna, and starting a family. With no time to waste, Danny heads to France to meet up with Davis and Mayer to begin the mission. When Danny arrived in France, he quickly joined Davis for a fun boxing session. After they finished, Danny explained his mission. He told Davis and Mayer that he didn't want any reward for this job cause he just wanted to save Hunter. So, Danny said they could keep all the rewards for themselves. Once they agreed, Danny showed them a photo of their target, a man named Harris. Harris used to be a soldier and now lives in Oman. Without wasting time, Danny and his team headed to Oman. When they got there, Danny snuck into Harris's house while Harris was busy in another room. Shortly after, Danny came up with a smart plan. At that time, he used pieces of the toilet floor to make a weapon that would make Harris's death look like an accident. Meanwhile, Davis went to a bar where retired soldiers from the UK liked to hang out. He was hoping to learn more about the soldiers who worked in Oman. But then, someone at the bar started to get suspicious of Davis and told a former soldier named Spike about him. Spike was loyal to his old group and didn't trust Davis. Spike gathered other retired soldiers who were part of a secret group doing bad things. But when he asked for help, none of them wanted to get involved. So, Spike decided to handle the problem himself. He took another man named Martin and headed to Oman. Once in Oman, Martin started spying on Davis and the others. He even watched Danny and Mayer as they worked on their plan to use the toilet floor pieces to kill Harris. But Danny was sharp, cause he noticed a flash of light from Martin's camera and realized they were being watched. Soon after, Danny and his team chased after Martin, but Martin escaped by running into an underground tunnel. To slow them down, Martin disturbed a beehive, sending angry bees everywhere. Danny and the others had to stop chasing him because of the bees. Now, they knew they had to be extra careful, as Martin's spying made everything more dangerous. The next day, Davis gets an important job that he has to make sure Harris's girlfriend's car doesn't work, so she won't be around to see what happens to Harris. Meanwhile, Danny and Mayer are already at Harris's house, getting ready. Mayer quickly ties up Harris's hands, while Danny sets up the tools in the bathroom. Before doing anything, Danny makes Harris confess. Harris admits that he was the one who killed the Sheikh's son, Hussein. He even says someone else was involved, and it's written in a book. But Danny doesn't really pay attention to this. After recording the confession, Danny and Mayer start their plan. Just as Danny is about to finish Harris, they hear a knock at the door. It's Harris's girlfriend, asking for taxi money. Once she leaves, Danny goes back to the bathroom, only to find Harris already dead. Mayer, feeling impatient, had done the job while Danny was distracted. Later, Danny flies to England to continue his mission. On the plane, he thinks about Anna, the person he loves. She's the reason he wants to leave this dangerous life behind and live peacefully. Meanwhile, Davis meets an informant to gather info about the SAS and figure out who their next target should be. But things take a bad turn. The informant grows suspicious of Davis and contacts Spike, the ex-SAS member. Davis, however, defends himself and ends up using a brush as a weapon to kill the informant. Afterward, Davis finds important papers at the informant's place that help the team with their mission. When Spike hears about the informant's death, he knows things are serious. He warns the other SAS members, telling them Danny and his team are highly skilled assassins who've managed to sneak into the SAS network. Spike decides they must act fast before Danny takes out more SAS members. Meanwhile, Danny meets up with Davis and Mayer to talk about their next target, and it's a man named Crack, one of the SAS members involved in Hussein's death. Shortly after, Danny comes up with a clever plan to stay under the radar. He disguises himself as a doctor to steal drugs that he can use to create poison for Crack. But trouble strikes again. Spike is waiting outside the hospital and catches Danny in the act. A thrilling chase begins with Danny leading Spike into an empty building. There they face off. Danny attacks with all his might, but Spike surprises him with incredible fighting skills. Spike is strong and tough, making it a fierce and difficult battle for Danny. After a long and tough fight, Danny finally outsmarts Spike with a clever move that he punches Spike in a spot that really hurts. Spike falls down, but Danny doesn't have time to finish the fight. He quickly escapes and heads to meet Davis and Mayer at their secret hideout. Now, the team focuses on their next target, a man named Crack. They come up with a daring plan, but it's very dangerous. To get to Crack, they need to sneak into the super secure SAS headquarters. Everyone knows this won't be easy. They head straight to the headquarters, ready to take the risk. Danny comes up with a disguise. There, he pretends to be a training soldier because Crack will be part of the training. Davis takes on the job of creating distractions, while Mayer keeps a close watch on Danny from afar. Once Danny manages to sneak into Crack's room, he secretly poisons Crack's tea without anyone noticing. Then, Danny joins the SAS, training outside in the snowy area. After a while, Crack starts feeling sick, and his heart becomes weaker. Danny sees his chance and goes to Crack. He gets Crack to admit he was part of the plan to kill the Sheikh's son. Danny records everything, and the Sheikh watches the confession later. When Crack's death is announced on the news, Spike hears about it while sitting in a bar. Some young men at the bar play loud music and laugh, disrespecting Crack. This makes Spike furious, and he yells at them for being so rude. Meanwhile, John comes back to Danny and the team with details about their next target, a man named Simon. At first, Davis isn't sure if he wants to continue with the mission, but he decides to do it for Hunter's sake. Before the team moves forward, Danny calls Anna. He promises her that he'll return to Australia soon and leave all this danger behind. Anna sounds confused about what Danny actually does for a living, but Danny promises to tell her everything once this mission is over. After talking to Anna, Danny gets into Davis's car to keep an eye on Simon. Simon is a retired soldier, but he's still super strong and skilled. He shows this by easily defeating two men who try to damage his car. But then, out of nowhere, Spike shows up to stop the fight. This surprises Danny, and he wonders what Spike is up to. Danny decides to follow Spike, which leads him to an empty building. Inside, Spike realizes that someone is following him. While in the building, Danny notices two boys hanging around. He gives them some money to find out more about who Spike really is. With this new information, Danny starts planning how to deal with Simon. The problem is, Simon is now being protected by Spike, which makes it much harder for Danny to get Simon's confession. To solve this, Danny comes up with a clever plan. They'll make a fake recording where Davis pretends to be Simon. This way, they can trick everyone without drawing attention to their mission. Meanwhile, John digs up information about Spike. He reaches out to his friend Mitwick, who knows a group of ex-soldiers. John asks Mitwick to make sure Spike doesn't mess with Danny's plan. Mitwick quickly meets with Gullington, one of the group members, and convinces him to stay out of Danny's mission. Gullington agrees and gets the others to back off too. This makes Spike really angry, so he decides to work alone from now on. At the same time, Danny and his team sneak into a truck garage as they continue their dangerous mission. Soon after, Mayer comes up with a plan to use a truck to stop Simon. He installs a remote control on the truck so they can control it from far away. The idea is to make the truck crash into Simon's car, making it look like a regular traffic accident. They even have a new partner named Jack to help them with the mission. With everyone ready, the team sets out to carry out the plan. The next day, they put the plan into action. Mayer drives the truck while the rest of the team watches from a safe spot. When Simon's car gets close, Mayer carefully steers the truck into Simon's car. The crash works perfectly, and the mission is complete. But trouble comes fast cause Spike's men show up and catch Mayer and Jack, leading to a wild chase. When Mayer is cornered, Jack tries to save him by shooting Spike's man from behind. But something goes horribly wrong. The bullet also hits Mayer, and both of them lose their lives. Danny is heartbroken and angry about losing Mayer, but he knows there's no time to waste. Shortly after, Danny finds a radio in Spike's car and tells Jack to call John for help cleaning up the mess. After that, Danny and Davis say goodbye to each other, knowing their mission is finally over. Meanwhile, Spike discovers that one of his men has been killed. This only makes him more determined to track down Danny and the team. At the same time, Davis checks into a hotel and starts making bad decisions. He hires a woman, not knowing she's actually a spy working for Spike. The spy quickly tells Spike where Davis is staying, putting Davis in danger. Then, Spike wastes no time and sends his men to catch Davis. They succeed in capturing him, and one of Spike's men uses the radio to contact Spike. Danny, who is nearby, overhears the conversation. Davis tries to escape by stealing a car, but Spike catches him, and sadly, Davis doesn't survive. After Davis is gone, Spike orders his men to check the phone number written on Davis's jacket. Spike then goes into a building to hide. But to his surprise, Danny is already there, waiting for him with a gun. Danny doesn't want to kill Spike since he's had enough of all the fighting and violence. Instead, he warns Spike to stop what he's doing. Danny makes it clear that if Spike doesn't listen and continues on this path, he'll have no choice but to stop him for good. After warning Spike, Danny goes to meet the Sheik and gives him the recording of Simon's confession. With his mission done, Danny takes Hunter with him and begs him to retire and live a calm, peaceful life away from danger. Meanwhile, Spike starts digging for more information about John. He discovers that John isn't just any agent cause turns out he's been secretly working with Danny and the team of assassins. At that time, Spike realizes the situation is more complicated than he thought and begins to uncover the truth about their group. Later on, Danny finally returns to Australia and rushes to see Anna. They are so happy to see each other again and share how much they've missed one another. But later that night, Danny gets a call from John using Anna's phone. John delivers shocking news that they had killed the wrong person. Harris wasn't the one responsible for the Sheik's son's death. Now, Anna's life is in danger unless Danny can fix this problem quickly. Feeling scared and worried, Danny decides to take Anna to Paris to keep her safe. When they arrive, Danny brings Anna to Hunter's house and asks Hunter to take care of her. Even though Hunter wants to help, Danny tells him to stay and protect Anna while he goes to London to fix everything. Danny knows how serious the situation is and wants to make sure Anna is safe no matter what. Without wasting any time, Danny goes straight to Bahad's Inn. He confronts Behade's men and demands answers, feeling like Bide has tricked him about the real target. After that, Danny meets with John to ask about the true target, Jerry Min. But what Danny and John don't know is that Spike has secretly planted a listening device in John's office and is listening to everything. Things get more dangerous as Danny rushes to find the truth and keep Anna safe. The stakes are high, and Danny has to be smart and careful to get through this tough situation. In a bold move, Danny goes to Jerriman's location wearing a helmet and dressed all in black, trying to stay hidden. But Spike is secretly watching everything Danny does. As Danny enters the place, there's a sudden explosion that sends him flying. Spike quickly captures the person in the helmet, thinking it's Danny. But when Spike takes off the helmet, he realizes it's not Danny cause it's Jack. Turns out, Danny had tricked Spike by using Jack as a decoy, fooling him and staying one step ahead. Inside Jerriman's room, Danny knocks Jerry Min unconscious. But just as he's about to complete his mission, he remembers the little kid he saw at the beginning of the story. For a moment, he hesitates, feeling unsure. In the end, Danny decides to go through with the plan and shoots Jerry Min. He takes a photo of Jerriman's body as proof and escapes through the roof of the building. But Spike isn't about to give up. He quickly gathers his men to chase Danny. Soon, Danny gets caught and is forced to surrender. Spike and his men arrest him and begin torturing him to get answers. Meanwhile, a surprising twist unfolds that Jerry Min is actually alive. It turns out Danny had used a rubber bullet instead of a real one. Spike is confused and wonders why Danny didn't kill Jerry Min. Determined to find out, Spike intensifies his questioning to uncover who is behind the assassinations of the former SAS members. During the tough interrogation, Danny reveals everything. He tells Spike about the Sheik and his reasons for revenge. Spike is shocked by what he hears but doesn't release Danny. Instead, he leaves Danny tied up and walks away. Just when things seem hopeless, Mitwick shows up. Mitwick, a British government official, points a gun at Spike and forces him to handcuff himself. Mitwick then explains the real story. He was sent to break up the group of former SAS soldiers and stop Spike's actions. Even more shocking, Mitwick reveals that the real mastermind behind everything is Bide, the Sheik's youngest son. Bide had been working secretly in a petroleum business deal with the British. To secure the deal, he allowed his 3 older brothers to die on the battlefield. This betrayal set off all the events leading to the Sheik's revenge and the chaos that followed. At that moment, Danny was really upset and felt betrayed, so he used all his strength to break free from the ropes that tied him. Even though he was tied up, Danny managed to fight back and defeat Mitwick and Spike. With his chance to escape, Danny quickly jumped out of a window and ran away as fast as he could. Meanwhile, Spike, feeling the pressure, decided to take care of Mitwick. But he couldn't catch Danny, who had already escaped in a car that didn't belong to him. Danny kept running and was hard to catch, leaving Spike and his men trying to catch up but failing. In a big surprise, John tried to hire someone to get rid of Hunter. He thought he could use Anna to control Danny, but Hunter was too strong. Hunter stopped the bad guy with his bare hands and shot John in the leg when he tried to kidnap Anna. Even though John had betrayed them, Hunter decided not to hurt him. Instead, he told John to stay away, or else there would be big trouble next time. The next day, Hunter met up with Danny and Amon. Danny was ready to give the Sheik proof that Jerry Min was no longer a problem. Hunter kept a watchful eye on Danny, making sure he stayed safe while everything was going on. But then something shocking happened. Spike showed up at the Sheik's place. The Sheik was sick and resting in bed. Spike showed the Sheik a fake photo of Jerry Min, pretending it was proof of the mission. Then, unexpectedly, Spike hurt the Sheik, and Bide was surprised but didn't seem too upset. He was more focused on the fact that he would soon have a lot of money. Then, Bide decides to give the $6 million that was meant for Danny and Hunter to Spike instead. Hunter sees this from a distance and is really upset. He tells Danny to go after Spike, who now has the money. But things get tricky when the Sheik's army starts chasing them too, blocking their way. Hunter doesn't give up though. He quickly shoots at their car to make a path so they can keep following Spike. Finally, they catch up with Spike and trap him. Danny asks Spike what happened inside the Sheik's house, and Spike admits to everything. Hunter takes some of the money from the bag and gives the rest to Spike so he can get back to England. With the truth out, Danny and Hunter decide it's time to leave the whole mess behind. Danny realizes that there's no need to kill Spike because Spike will face the consequences from the Sheik's army. The story ends with Danny returning to Paris, where he is reunited with Anna. They get ready to go back to Australia, starting a new chapter in their lives. And that's the end of the film. The moral lesson from this film is sometimes it's better to leave the dangerous job and chill in Australia with a coconut in hand, because fighting bad guys doesn't come with a no-stress guarantee. Also, if you're ever in a secret mission, remember that tricking people with a rubber bullet might just save your life, or make things even more confusing.